how have we defined meaning? Does anybody remember? Colleen, don't look it up. You should.
It's
Yeah.
the mental equivalent
Yes,
of an event.
of an event or a phenomenon. It's the mental equivalent of a phenomenon. Now, when we sit with a patient, the patient presents to us certain problems.
This perspective, we know uh, the qualities, the spiritual qualities.
Yes.
And then another statement that you made is to let what we hear do its own work, so that the spiritual qualities are not something that we can express, but they express themselves
That's right.
through us. Now, this whole fascinating area of that expressing that cannot be done is actually what we would like to study more with you about this morning.
What happens when someone is trying to express spiritual qualities?
It seems to come off phony.
That's right, Marjorie. That, like, for instance, a nun, there are some nuns who are trying to be very loving and very nice, but it comes through like saccharini. It cannot, saccharin. It cannot be done with the best of intentions. These things cannot be done. They are either glowing and shining through, or they are just artificial, and they create a negative reaction in people. Sometimes you see it on television, the preachers who are trying to express certain loving spiritual qualities, and it just doesn't come through right. I'm sure you have observed it on some religious programs. A great deal of effort is being exerted in trying to express spiritual qualities. And that cannot be done. It's not authentic. It's disingenuous.
Dr. Hora?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes, Bill.
But isn't expressing them, even though they're phony a signpost to getting closer to the truth?
Well, no, not necessarily, Bill, because if you don't understand the difference between a $9 bill and a $10 bill, you will never know. Can you tell a difference between a $9 bill and a $10 bill? Or something that is counterfeit? You may deal with counterfeit money and not know it, and get into trouble that way.
How is it different than when we talk about the truth, speaking the truth, and it shall
Make it
become, or speaking the word and it shall become the truth?
Yes. Well, there is a difference between manifesting spiritual qualities and expressing them. You see, when you are expressing them, then you are trying to do it.
Like the preachers on the TV.
Right.
How is manifesting them different?
Well, that would be very spontaneous and easy, and would create a comfortable feeling in the audience. whenever you are facing a disingenuous individual, there is a sense of discomfort about watching them. And the essence of this discomfort is an awareness that you are being conned. You know that word, being conned?
Yes.
Yes. Perhaps not willfully, but inadvertently through lack of awareness.
So could you say that manifesting the truth would be more of letting be and waiting for something to come forward?
Now you're asking how to do it.
Yeah.
We just said it cannot be done. If we are sincerely appreciative of these values and qualities, we are imbued by them, and they shine through us. We don't have to exert an effort to express it.
So it seems really important that we know that God speaks through us.
That's right. Did you ever go to the bathroom when you didn't have the urge and try to express yourself?
When I didn't have the urge, I can't think of why I would do that.
You see, it cannot be done. Some things can be done and some things cannot be done.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hora.
You're welcome, Bill.
Dr. Hora?
Yes?
Yeah, this is Janine Carl. In lieu of what you said about, it's unnatural to try to go to the bathroom when you can't, yet we do eat because there's a hunger, and then the inside, it seems as if the digestive system is invisible and just does its thing. I was wondering if you could also compare, as we're exposed to spiritual meditation, this class, and all kinds of things that might, evoke our consciousness or make it aware. Is it kind of similar to that as we feed that spiritual consciousness that inside it's invisible and digest, and it becomes a natural thing?
Now, if you overeat, you are expressing invalid ideas about nutrition.
Uh-huh.
You see, invalid values can be expressed. These are the things that can be done.
Mm-hmm.
You see, you can fake it, and you can hurt yourself that way. But spiritual values and spiritual qualities, they are realities, and they cannot be falsified without ill effect.
Okay, but if you expose yourself to the valid spiritual ideas, that scene or that process takes its natural course, and you can't do it. It just happens.
Well, it happens when you are sincerely imbued by them, appreciating them and loving them. They transform you.
Oh, okay.
You don't change yourself. The truth sets you free, but you cannot produce the truth.
Uh-huh.
You have to allow the truth to transform you and set you free. You just receive the truth.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Dr. Hora. This is Bob.
Yes, Bob.
I have a poorly formed question here, so hope you can bear with me. It just seems some of the ideas we've been presenting today are fit in sort of with the concept of human mockery.
Yes, you could say that.
What was the other idea I had?
Beg your pardon. I didn't get what you said.
Human mockery and
I think maybe I better pass this on and maybe have a better question.
Okay.
Yep.
Good morning, Dr. Hora. This is Robin.
Yes, Robin.
If we are being authentic as true to our mode of being,
Yes.
how is it possible to be spontaneous and not irresponsible?
Spontaneous and not irresponsible. Well, we have to clarify then what these words mean, Robin. What would you call spontaneous?
Spontaneous is acting without hesitation and without disrupting your consciousness.
Without hesitation and without disrupting your consciousness? I don't understand that.
Without taking premeditation to your action.
I see. In other words, you believe that spontaneity means non-reflecting reaction, non-reflective reaction. So reacting without being aware of our thoughts.
Yeah? Yeah.
Now you are mistaken about the idea of spontaneity, Robin. What you call spontaneity is just ignorant reactiveness, and that is always irresponsible.
Okay.
Now, would you like to know what spontaneity really means?
Yes, please.
Spontaneity means responding appropriately to issues on the basis of understanding. So it's not at all what people usually think about spontaneity. People think that if you fly off the handle, that is a spontaneous response. It's not spontaneous. It is an ignorant, non-reflective reaction. Any dog can do it.
In other words, impulsive.
Impulsive, that's right. That's not spontaneous. The word spontaneity comes from the Latin sponte tua, which means according to thy will.
Oh.
The will of God for us is that we respond intelligently and appropriately and with love to whatever issues we are facing. So that's true spontaneity.
Then spontaneity can be applied to decision making.
Well, Robin, in metapsychiatry, we are learning not to make decisions. Have you ever heard of metapsychiatry?
Yeah.
We don't make decisions. We choose according to inspired wisdom and divine guidance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Howard, this is Anna.
Yes, Anna.
I have some questions about operationalism. In going over this topic, I'm becoming more aware of the operationalism that I function under in my human experience. I often have a sense of urgency of having to do things and a sense of importance in getting them done. And I've seen it spill over into my spiritual journey where I carry with a sense of urgency of having to do spiritual things, of having to read, having to meditate. And what I would like to understand is what ideas are cherished to continue in a mode of being of operationalism and feeling that you are important and needing to do things.
Well, Anna, our topic today is designed to heal you of operationalism. Would you like to know what operationalism is?
Yes, I would.
Operationalism is based on an ignorance of God. It assumes that God doesn't exist and we have to do everything ourselves, even those things which cannot be done. That's operationalism. But Jesus said, on mine own self I can do nothing. It is the Father in me who doeth the works. So as you progress in your studies of metapsychiatry, you will discover that it is love intelligence that accomplishes whatever needs to be done. And you become an instrument of God rather than a self-energized, battery-operated machine.
Thank you, Dr. Hora.
You're welcome, Anna.
Dr. Hora, this is Jim.
Yes, Jim?
There's a phenomenon occurring in my life that I haven't been able to discover the meaning of. If I describe it to you, perhaps you could help me.
Perhaps.
Each morning, I sit in a coffee shop and taking my morning breakfast, I read one of your books or The Course in Miracles. And there's a waitress there who has a very fundamentalist outlook. And she keeps intruding upon my solitude in order to convince me that I should throw away these books and read only the Bible and see it her way. And at first I tried doing it. I tried to show her that we were in agreement, and she didn't want to hear about agreement. She heard that I was of the devil or something like that. And so I even tried not responding. And yet, as the phenomenon, she continues in my life. Could you find out the meaning of this?
Well, Jim, nothing comes into experience uninvited. Maybe you would like to convince her that metapsychiatry is better than her religion. And you reading these books in the coffee shop is really a provocation.
If it is, it's very, very covert because I never speak to anyone about. I go there because my home is a very busy place, and there's this used to be a quieter place to be. Yeah.
Well, is there a closet in your home?
Perhaps I did one.
Yes, we mustn't flaunt our studies in the face of other people's beliefs, and we are not, you see, an elementary ethic of metapsychiatry is never to influence anyone, neither directly nor indirectly. Unsolicited solicitude is a trespass.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hora, this is Linda.
Yes, Linda.
I would like to ask about the doing in relation to when we have a problematic whatever area in our lives and we are trying to transcend it and learn about God in relation to the problem in that area. It seems that, could you please clarify the process? And then it seems like at some point we are doing something, even if it's to open up the spiritual literature to turn our consciousness to the spiritual. It seems like we are even at least doing the preparing of the consciousness or doing the receptivity, or somehow we walk to the bookslide and open the book and
It's like doing the cha-cha.
yeah, I mean, I understand that somehow by grace, in the midst of this dueling, God manages to get through. But I guess I want to know where the dueling breaks off and the not dueling so that I can stop doing the dueling and only do the not dueling.
Is this Linda, the lawyer, talking? No,
Well, I still kind of wanted to ask you about that too, but that's another story.
Now, Linda, what is prayer?
There seems to be a process where we open our consciousness to inspiration.
Well, how do you do that?
Well, I go into a room, close the door, and I sit down in a chair, take a couple of slow breaths, and do my best to be still.
Yeah.
I don't, maybe since it's the language is set to this limits to this, you can't talk about any of this without the verb do.
Yeah. Well, essentially, prayer, Linda, is turning our wholehearted attention towards God. With the aim of receiving some inspired idea or wisdom which we happen to need at a particular time. Now, would you classify attentiveness as an activity?
So it's not in the sense of do, but no, I kind of more want to call it just a state.
A state. That's right. A state of receptivity. It is neither active nor passive, right?
Right?
It is a quality of attention which is alert and grateful and available. So it is not a doing, nor is it a non-doing. It is a special state of consciousness which is available. It's not like doing the cha-cha.
Right.
Okay.
It sounds like it's possible that when I think I'm doing, I'm really not doing.
That's right, of course.
Anytime I
People who have an operational approach to meditation or prayer find that nothing is really accomplished. It is almost like God doesn't talk to operators.
Right. Okay. To take one real short example, I sort that might have brought this up was yesterday. I was working on an issue, and I was sitting down, and in order to clarify my invalid thoughts, I was writing down on a piece of paper to clarify even what my error was, because that was so kind of fuzzy. When I got to the end of it, and as my habit is, after I write down the erroneous thought, I write down what would be the spiritual truths applicable. And when I got to that part, there was definitely a not doing. There was a hearing there, and it was as though 50 pounds got lifted off of my shoulder, and I felt the weight go away, and I was completely entangled, and it was definitely a moment of transcendence. But that was going on when I was writing on the paper.
You were making out a brief.
All right, forget it. But that not a doing.
That must have been a doing, some doing. Yes. But that's just an attempt at using writing as a tool for turning to God. But it is not necessary.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hora, it also seems that it is a kind of illusory when we think we are doing things, even, say, picking up a book.
Yes.
Isn't that really God's doing? And isn't that really in response
Yeah.
to the presence of God's grace?
Yes. Yes. It depends, of course, on the book.
Right, that is that's one thing. But it's the concept that we seem to, the issue of that we do things is a false issue.
Right.
The focus on that, it is the motive.
Right.
And there's really nothing, even when we come to this class, it doesn't seem to be, you may be under the illusion that we have gotten the idea to come here.
Right. Right.
That seems to be a hang-up here. Could you clarify that a little further?
Yes. Well, there is such a thing as mental vanity in unenlightened man, and that mental vanity is a wishful idea, a belief that we can make decisions and we can, with our own minds, determine that we will do this and we will do that, or we will produce certain thoughts in our brains, that we are autonomous thinkers and autonomous actors on the scene, but that is just a dream, the dream of self-confirmatory and interaction living. And metapsychiatry is teaching us how to go beyond this dream and to realize that we are constantly being guided, either guided or misguided, depending on where our attention is focused. Now, if you happen to wind up at this class at the School of Metapsychiatry, rest assured that you're being guided by a higher intelligence. Hopefully so.
We will find out, if we understand correctly, that all that ever was done right was not done by us at all.
Yes, we were called. We were called.
And we were found.
Right. Many are called, but few choose to come.
Hello, Dr. It's Roberta.
Yes, Roberta.
I read in the book Beyond the Dream that the only thing that we could do is be stewards of our consciousness.
Yeah.
And I have a limited idea of stewardship. I have the idea that to be steward is. I have this idea like I'm taking care of a lot of naughty children, and I take the attendance, and this guy is still here, and I have the idea that it's a caretaker type of well, I can't say job or position, but it's a caretaker type, and the spirit takes up so much of my time. And when I take the attention, they're still there.
Yeah.
So that's what stewardship is. It's being aware of even the garbage that's there.
Yeah. And the Bible says, whatever turns you on,
But I go on to turn. Could you help me then understand stewardship? Then I don't
well,
quite.
a caretaker is a synonym of stewardship.
Yes, and so when
So
we care for, when we are attentive to our thoughts, all our thoughts, then we are stewards of our consciousness.
Yes, of course.
I see.
Right.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, Robert.
Dr. Hora,
Yes?
this is Fern.
Yes, Fern.
When we become aware of ignorance and consciousness in the process of stewardship, what is helpful? What is the right thinking approach? In other words, I think what Roberta is describing may still be a false sense of responsibility about being ignorant and consciousness. Now we have to do something about ignorant thought.
What can we do about ignorant thoughts?
Not think them,
Is that
ignore them, repress them.
Is that possible? Can you not think of pink elephants?
No, but I could try.
You can try, yes.
I should exert an effort.
Yes, and get nowhere.
Right.
All right. So what's the solution?
But it seems like we don't understand, or I don't understand the power of awareness. That just to be aware, that already is turning my attention.
Just to be aware of what?
Of what's in consciousness.
Yes. Well, suppose you have a pleasurable fantasy in consciousness, and you are aware of it, and you continue indulging in it because it's pleasurable. So what then?
Well, it seems that awareness of that tendency to want to cling to the fantasy
Yeah.
reveals my values to me. It reveals what I'm clinging to.
Yes.
And the awareness seems to dissolve willfulness. It seems to dissolve desire. If I stay aware of it, if I get indulged in fantasy, then I'm not aware of it. I'm just lost in it.
Yeah.
But if I remain aware that I'm not interested in turning my attention away from the fantasy, then that seems to dissolve my interest to it or my desire to continue.
It sounds like an operational approach to dealing with fantasies or invalid thoughts. So I saw on television a young woman who says, they all tell me that I should stop snorting cocaine, but I don't want to. I like it. So, what then?
I'll just suggest that it seems like a job for the free art.
Who said this?
It's Bob.
Bob. Now, could you explain what you said?
Well, this is kind of like an Italian to Roberta's stewardship issue, but when you notice an invalid idea in consciousness, you recognize it as being an invalid idea.
Yeah.
Because it's hurting you in some fashion. That's also
Yeah.
so helpful in putting things up.
Yeah, well, not everybody recognizes and that it is invalid. Well, after it has led to suffering, and it is clarified by someone that there is a connection between the suffering and a particularly invalid idea, then regret can take place. And after regret, reorientation towards existentially valid ideas or spiritual values. And that's the process. We cannot force ourselves to not think about invalid ideas, but we can turn our attention towards valid ideas, and then these invalid ideas die of neglect. Just like the ego can die of neglect. Ego only lives as long as there is self-confirmatory desire. When we lose interest in self-confirmatory ideation, then the ego dies of neglect.
That seems to make very good sense. And Robin's question earlier, even though you might have distracting thoughts, the Chinese proverb, although the birds fly over our heads, we don't let them nest in our hair.
That's right, Bob.
Right. I have a question that's somewhat related to this, and that is I caught myself considering the English mockery this morning as I comb my hair. And with another phrase, things are not as they seem, but neither are they otherwise.
Yes.
So here I am being so silly, believing I'm a human being, combing my hair, so forth, what's my best.
Do you
Then I go back and perhaps some scientist looking through a big microscope down at some, little tiny diatoms down there and saying, oh, look at that. So it seems that when we're involved in a misconception, that's the human mockery part, being involved in dualism of the real world.
Yes.
And when we come to these qualities, when we focus on the qualities that cannot be done, we're the true spiritual qualities that make life perfect.
Right, Bob. Tell me, Bob, do you have hair?
Do I have hair?
Yes. It would be funny if you combed your hair, which wasn't bad.
I guess I don't know if I have hair or not. I'll have to decide whether I should shave my head down. The idea of erasing the dots. I'll have to consider that question. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hora, this is Jim.
Yes, Jim?
When we ask the two valid questions, this is an act of consciousness. Is it considered as doing this, or is it considered just this? In other words, it's obvious to me that when we ask 6 invalid questions that we're really caught in operationalism. However, is it not also operational to switch our direction and ask the valid question?
Well, if you are performing this as a ritual, then it is an operation. If you have reached a point where you are sincerely and wholeheartedly seeking wisdom and understanding, then it is not an operational process. It is an act of devotion. And it isn't you who is doing it, but the living soul.
I think I just got a clarifying idea that when we're considering operationalism, we're really asking, we're looking at the question that the statement that Jesus made, that it is not I that do the work, but the Father within.
Right.
What we're actually doing is operationalism would then be defined as taking credit for something that we're not actually doing.
Very good. Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the plurality that you earlier pointed out.
Yes, right.
Dr. Hora,
Yes.
this is Anna.
Yes, Anna.
What? I'm thinking, what do you do? And I'm frustrated. When you have a thought and you are aware that it's invalid, but you don't want to give it up,
Yes.
you can't do anything to get rid of that thought. Then it feels like you're cornered, that you are at the mercy of this invalid thought. You cannot do anything about the invalid thought, and you don't even want to do anything about it at the time.
Right. So you, if you don't want to get rid of the thought, you are not seeking any healing. You just relax and enjoy it until you get hurt. You see, if somebody enjoys snorting cocaine and doesn't want to give it up, he will enjoy cocaine until he gets a hole in his nose. And then he will seek help.
So it's important not to take our invalid thoughts seriously, to just relax even in our awareness of them.
Well, of course, in metapsychiatry, we learn not to take anything seriously, which doesn't mean that we are frivolous, but we seek the joyous route, the happy, joyous approach to a God who is joy. God is joy and love. So seriousness is no help.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hora, it's Robin.
Yes, Robin?
It seems that our role here is to just realize what's already been done by God and not go about doing things.
Well, that's an interesting way of putting it, of course. But you see, God cannot be put into a time frame. When we say God has already done this, we are our thinking moves in a time frame of the past. Sometimes, somewhere in the far past, God has done this, and it is already done, and that's all.
Yeah.
But God is not in time. God is now. Creation is now, from moment to moment. Every moment, creative ideas flow into our consciousness from omniactive love intelligence, the divine mind. So it's much more helpful to conceptualize the spiritual life in terms of now, from moment to moment. God is now. He is not in a time frame. There are many religious people who always say, well, in the future or sometime in the future, God will do this and Jesus Christ will come in a certain uncertain, this will be the second coming, maybe in the 21st century, maybe 100 years from today, Jesus Christ will come again. This is absolutely futile way of thinking. The Christ is now. The Christ is here now. The Christ is a quality of consciousness which is aware of love intelligence as the only reality which has always been and always will be, because it's not in a time frame. So it makes no sense to wait for a certain historical moment in the future when there will be a second coming of the Christ. Now is the accepted time, says the Bible. Now is the time of salvation. The truth is now, and it is continuously now. That is much more helpful.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have started this class with a motto from Jeremiah, which says, "Before I formed thee in the valley, I knew thee."
Yes,
I would suggest the time frame. But of course, as you explain now,
yes,
that is always taking place in the now.
yes, right.
Maybe right now we are being formed.
Well, human language and the human mind is time-bound. Natural man has a natural inclination to think in terms of past, present, and future. But the divine mind doesn't know about time. There is neither time nor space in divine reality. There is only now, from moment to moment, which is not a time frame, which is eternity. God exists in eternity, which is not a time of long duration. Eternity is not duration, it is timelessness. And the only way human language can approach this difficult concept of timelessness by speaking about now, moment by moment, now. Now is the accepted time. Now the eye of my eye sees. Now the ear of my ears hears. Now the mind of my mind knows. Now the love of my love glows. I and my Father are one. Not will be one, or was one, or should be one, or perchance in the future might be one. It is one now. If you learn to see things in the timelessness of now, then we will be much closer to understanding divine reality and transcending traditional forms of religious thinking, going beyond traditional religions.
So even the now is not a time now.
That's right. It's the closest approximation to timelessness that the English language is capable of.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hora, this is Jay.
Yes, Jay?
As I listen to your speaking of of now and eternal, the scripture came to mind. In the beginning was the Word,
Yeah.
and what He made was good. How can I understand that in relation to what you're saying now? Is that just my thinking that creation was as if there was a beginning?
Right. Every religious student, every religion creates the illusion that creation happened sometimes in the past, maybe 1,000,000 years ago or something like that. So that is of course naive, because in the timelessness of divine reality, there was no time at any time, in the past or in the future. Now, if you would like to understand the meaning of in the beginning, what were you quoting? In the beginning, God created the
Yes.
world. If that's what you were quoting,
Yes.
it means we must always start with God as the beginning of all our approach to understanding. Whatever we seek to understand in life, we must begin with God. God is the first priority in all our thoughts. You know the first principle of metapsychiatry.
Yes. Thou shalt have no other interest before the good of God, which is spiritual.
That's right. So in the beginning, God means we always begin with God.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hora, this is Marjorie.
Yes, Marjorie.
Earlier you mentioned devotion.
Yes.
I had a misconception of this, I think, due to my religious upbringing. Could you explain the meaning of devotion?
Yes. Well, the devotion doesn't mean climbing on your knees up the stairs towards the church.
Yes, I think that I realized that.
Yeah, you spare your knees that way. Devotion means that we love to pay attention to certain truths. That way we are devoted. And this love of certain truths and realities then impels us to approach things the right way. That devotion. In religious practice, of course, devotional has become an operational fantasy of performing, like, for instance, lighting candles or burning incense and such things as devotional activities, or reciting prayers. This is considered devotional rituals, but that's not. We are not interested in rituals because those are all operational approaches to God. And operationalism is a self-defeating approach. Instead of facilitating the realization of God, it impedes it.
So a real love of quality or seeking to understand this, because you really would love to understand more of peace or assurance.
That's devotion.
Then will this devotion then it will begin to lead us to being more receptive
Exactly.
and responding, and it can also lead to more inspiration.
That's right, Marjorie.
And this, of course, it seems like it's a process that will uplift us from getting an impression of doing or not doing.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Hora, this is Fern.
Yes, Fern.
The healing then of a false sense of personal responsibility would come through understanding that Satan of Jesus is that I can do nothing of myself. It is the Father who doeth the work.
Right. Right.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
I just said right.
Oh. If we find ourselves straining or suffering the consequences of operationalism, doing, what would be helpful to heal us at that time?
Well, if you understand the error of operationalism, it will heal you. That very quote which you quoted from the Bible, that has a healing realization in it. Jesus healed many people without doing anything. Did you consider that?
Yeah.
He didn't give massages, right?
Right.
Yes. He didn't use acupuncture,
He didn't do laying on his hands.
right? Occasionally he laid on the hands, but that's just a symbolic act of transfer of love.
But it wasn't an operational thing
No.
like people think of it today.
No, no. It was a communication of reassurance.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Looks like we have reached the end of our seminar this morning.
All right, Jan.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.